So you just got your brand new Galaxy Watch Ultra and now you want to buy some new bands for it. But the problem is there are a ton of different options out there and most of these bands look great online, but when you actually get them, the quality isn't exactly what you were hoping for. Well, in this video, I'm going to be reviewing 13 watch bands to save you time, money, and the disappointment of getting a watch band that you're disappointed with. We're going to see how they fit, how they feel, and at the end of the video, I'll let you know which one of these watch bands were my personal favorite and the ones I would recommend. So let's get into it. So really quick before we begin, I just want to address a question that somebody left me in the comments, and I'm sure a lot of you have the same question. And the question was, do the old bands from the Galaxy Watch Ultra of last year still work on the new Galaxy Watch Ultra from this year? And the answer is yes. Here I have the marine band that came with the brand new Galaxy Watch Ultra, and here I have the Galaxy Watch Ultra from last year. So just put this in the watch and it clips right into place. So the answer is yes, you can use the bands that worked on the old Galaxy Watch Ultra from last year on the new version and vice versa. So the very first watch band we're going to take a look at is the one made by Samsung, and this is their marine band. This band is made of a combination of a couple different materials. First off, this rubber is made of HNBR, which is a very durable type of rubber material, and it also has a titanium double buckle here, which is probably why this band is so expensive. But it does feel really nice in the hand. The little strap holder here just simply slides up and down the band. You don't have to take anything apart. You just kind of adjust it like you normally would, and it pretty much stays in place. The other side is just made of the rubberized material, and then we have the metal inserts here which connect to your watch. So we'll put this on the bottom here, clip this into the top. They just kind of clip into place, held in place very well. So here is the band on my wrist. It looks and feels great. There's also a ton of different adjustment. I've got not a very big wrist, so I have a lot of different tightnesses that I can go still. So if you got a bigger wrist, I think this would be a good option for you. It also doesn't pull any of the hair on my wrist as well, which I can definitely appreciate because that doesn't feel good. I'm sure those of you who have hairy wrists know what I'm talking about. And even though this watch band does cost a little bit more, I think it's probably worth the price because of the type of materials that they're using are high quality. But like I mentioned before, there are some other watch bands that look just like this, which are much cheaper. But again, you have to be very careful because not all watch bands are created equal. This band is also very well made. It's a very thick, solid type of rubber, which I also believe will last you the life of the watch. So if you can afford the price, I definitely think that the marine band is a good option. The next watch band we're going to take a look at is one by ULTIMAL. This is their Steelfighter series, and I can actually vouch for this watch band because I've been using this same band on my Apple Watch for the past 2 months, and I absolutely love it. And I'll tell you why I do and what I use it for in just a minute. So it comes in this box. This watch is made from like a silicone type rubber, and it also has a stainless steel clasp that connects to your watch. Now it also looks and feels really good in the hand too. This watch band is one of the watch bands that looked just as good online as it does in hand, if not a little better. So you can see that it's got a couple different accents on here with the orange. This is the stainless steel portion, and then you have the rubber silicone type band. And then here on the other side, you can see how thick and beefy this clasp is. This is also something you don't have to worry about breaking because it seems to be really well made. So we'll put this on our watch. Just kind of press this on the bottom here. Put this on the top. And then we'll put this on our wrist. So here it is on my wrist. I think it looks really good with this type of Galaxy watch. The stainless steel kind of contrasts the watch itself, and then you have the band on the bottom here. Another watch band that feels really good on the wrist. It does not pull any of my hair, and again, this rubberized material is It's got like a nice soft feel to it. Another thing I really like is this little band holder here has like a little notch on the underneath that goes into one of these notches here to help keep it in place as well. But I've been using the one on my Apple Watch, again, like I mentioned, for about 2 months. And it's been great. It looks and feels great on my wrist. I use it when I go hiking, biking, and when I do some walks around the neighborhood. And you know, you get really sweaty and everything like that, and you can just simply take your watch off and then just wash it off, you know, when you take it off your wrist. But this also, I believe it comes in a couple different colors as well if you don't like the silver and you want like a more, like a deeper color, like maybe a black. But this is definitely one of the watch bands that is my personal favorite. I love the way that it looks. And again, it looks and feels solid. It does not feel cheap at all. And like I mentioned before, the one on my Apple Watch has been holding up great for the past 2 months. You can see that it's not falling apart. None of the screws are coming out. It looks great on the Apple Watch as well. I also really like the fact that it has like an industrial type look to it with these little bolts on the side. I think it just looks really cool. And then here's a close-up of what the underside looks like as well. So if you're looking for a really nice watch band that you can use for multiple things and have it actually look good enough to wear on the watch, even if maybe you're dressing up, I would definitely recommend getting the Steelfighter from ULTIMAL. The next watch band we're going to take a look at is made by Robust. Now these two watch bands that we have here are made from a durable grade 2 titanium. It comes in a black and it also comes in a what looks to me like a natural titanium color. They do have a little bit of a weight to it. Let's see how much these bands actually weigh versus the Galaxy Watch Ultra. So the silver one here weighs 67.9 grams. And the watch itself weighs 60. So it seems like the watch band actually weighs more than the Galaxy Watch itself. Let's see if it's the same way with the black version. Yeah, so these two bands actually weigh more than the Galaxy Watch themselves, but I think they look really nice. And they're also pretty simple to adjust. If we take a look at the bottom here, there are these little arrows. That's the way you need to push out the pins on the bottom of these little links here to adjust it. And then you just do the opposite way to put them back in. This one is already adjusted for me. Now, the one thing that I really love about this band that a lot of other bands don't do is it has this really nice thick clasp here. You just simply press in these buttons on the side to open it up, and then it closes up with a nice clip. You can see that it is a little bit thicker, and I like that because it makes it a lot easier to grab onto, whereas some of the other bands out there, the clasp is actually super thin. So this one also doesn't open if you just press one of the buttons. You have to press in both of them to have it unlock. So that's definitely a plus. So let's put this on the bottom of our band here. It's not the easiest to connect to your phone because it has a very small piece that's not flimsy. Like this little piece here, it's just a very small piece to hold on to, so it doesn't make it very easy to kind of push this on the band. I really don't like the Galaxy Watch Ultra's connection. I think it could have been a lot better. All right, so I finally got it in. You have to push in fairly hard to get it into the watch. I don't like the design for the Galaxy Watch, for bands especially like this, where there's not a lot to really hold on to kind of push it into the watch. It makes it more difficult to actually push in. And there we got the other side. So it was a lot easier to kind of push in the button and then push in the other side, but you can eventually get it in. It's just a little bit more difficult than I would like. So I'll put this on my wrist now. Goes on very easily. It also feels really good on my wrist, doesn't pull any of my hairs. And like I mentioned before, I think the natural titanium color goes really well with I think this is the silver Galaxy Watch. We've got the natural titanium look here with the gray, and then on the top, the silver or the natural titanium goes really well with this band. And again, the clasp you can see here does not come off just by pressing in the one button. You have to press in both buttons. Comes off very easily, and it has a nice satisfying clip. And it's also, I don't think it's too thick. I think it's pretty good versus some of the other thinner bands out there. It's a lot easier to take off because of these two buttons on the side. But I think that looks really good. I think this is probably going to go better with this color Galaxy Watch than the black is. But this is a really nice band. So one thing I discovered when taking this band off of the watch is it's on there super tight. That's another reason why it's so hard to put into the watch. It's just the connection is just super tight, but it does fit into the watch. So now let's try the black version. And this one seems just as hard to get onto the watch as the silver one did. It's also hard to put on because this little connector is on an angle. I think if it was more straight on, it would be a lot easier to put in. So the easiest way to get these bands on here is to actually press in the little button here and then kind of push in band and then release. That's the easiest way I found to get it on the watch because it is such a tight fit. And I'll put it on my wrist here. Clips into place. Again, feels really nice on my wrist. Doesn't grab any of my hair. And you can see how the black goes along with this version of the Galaxy Watch. Again, I definitely do think that the natural titanium one looks a lot better with this version of the Galaxy Watch. But if you have a darker version of the Galaxy Watch, you might actually like the black one better. So these watch bands are a really nice option if you're looking for a titanium band for your Galaxy Watch. The only thing is the connector to the Galaxy Watch is super tight to put on and take off. That's the only downside that I could see to these bands. The next watch we have here is the SPIGEN Lite Fit. So here is the band. It looks to be mainly made of like a stretchy type of nylon. It has a metal buckle in the center here and metal connectors on each side. This seems like it just simply kind of stretches over your hand and then has to be tight on your wrist. I don't particularly like these because you have to keep stretching it super tight over your hand just to make it tight on your wrist, but we'll test it out. So we'll clip this into the side here. Again, the same thing, like this connector is just not the best. It's like, it's really hard to press these buckles inside here. So once again, I find it easier to press in the button and then push this in, and it goes in so much easier. And there we go. So now I have to stretch this over my hand so it's nice and tight on my wrist. I mean, if that's the kind of band that you like, then this isn't too bad. It does feel pretty comfortable on my wrist. It's got the nice soft fabric, but if you are very active, keep in mind, because the sweat is going to stay inside this fabric. It's not like the other rubber bands where you can kind of wash them. This is going to be a little bit harder to keep clean, but you can adjust the little buckle on the bottom to make it a little looser if you need to. It's just, I just don't like having to stretch it out over my hand because it needs to be kind of small to stay tight on your wrist. Not a horrible band. I do think it looks nice with the new Galaxy Watch Ultra. But for me personally, I don't personally like these bands. I like the ones you either buckle or that you have the metal clip. It just kind of clips open. You put it over your wrist and then kind of clip it back into place. But just a simple stretchy band. Nothing crazy. Not too bad. Again, it's not for me, but it's not a bad band if that's what you're looking for. I don't think that this band would be good, especially for people who had, rings that have maybe diamonds or something sticking up off of your ring, because when you have to, stretch this out over your hand, it could potentially scratch your ring or the underside of the watch. It's just kind of a pain. And then here we have the SPIGEN Simply Watch Band. So here is the band, and as you can see, it still has a fabric band, but this one has Velcro to kind of keep it adjusted on your wrist. It also has a very beefy buckle here. You can see how thick that thing is. You don't have to worry about that breaking at all. So we'll clip this onto the bottom of the watch. We'll see how easy this is to clip in. And this one goes in place very easily, I think, because the connector is a little bit bigger than some of the other bands. We'll clip in the other side here. Yep, clips right into place. I'm going to open this up and adjust it a little bit. Put this on our wrist. And then you can pull this around and tighten it as much as you want. Now, I've got fairly small wrists, and it's almost adjusted all the way. You can see it. We only have a very small bit of adjustment here. So if you got smaller wrists than I do, this band might be a little bit big for you, but it is pretty comfortable on my wrist. This fabric does have like a soft kind of fluffy feeling to it. It does seem to stay on your wrist as well. It's also not pulling any of the hairs. And I think that this color matches this color Galaxy Watch Ultra as well. I think that looks pretty nice. I do also appreciate the fact that it was much easier to clip into the watch versus some of the other bands. And again, you get that big buckle on the other side here. Definitely not a bad band. Again, just like the other SPIGEN, this one is made of fabric. So if you're going to be sweating a lot, things like that, you might have to worry about this, getting a lot dirty and hard to, kind of keep clean versus the other rubber bands. But other than that, I think this band looks pretty nice, and it also fits on my wrist really well. And you just kind of pull back this band of the buckle to release the band, so you can take it off. It also does have a little plastic piece in the end here to keep the band from totally coming out of the buckle here. And then here we have a Milanese loop by the company you see right here. So here is the band. This is made of all stainless steel. It does have some pretty good weight to it as well. And the way that this comes apart is you're supposed to push these two little levers here and it just comes apart. But the one thing I noticed about this is even if you press on one of the sides here, the whole thing comes apart, which shouldn't be. Both of these little levers on the side should have to be pressed in for it to come apart, but it seems to be kind of faulty. Like, it shouldn't come apart when you just press one of these levers here. I don't know if that's how they made it or if it's, supposed to be both of them, but the way that it's supposed to work is you're supposed to push both of those in to release it. So that is something to keep in mind. Now, to adjust the fit on this, you're supposed to lift up on this metal piece here, kind of like that. It's a little hard to do. If you've got nails, you might break them. Try to get like a plastic pick or something. You can get in here and kind of lift it up, because once it's adjusted, you shouldn't need to adjust it again. But we'll undo this here, and then this just simply slides back and forth on this piece of the strap, and then you just push this little piece down once you've reached the point where it's tight on your wrist. So I'll just put it right there for now, and we'll put this on our watch. We'll see how easy this is to do. So this is another one of those bands that does go in with a little bit more force than normal, but it does clip into place. And then we'll put this on our wrist, and then all you need to do is just simply pull this over to the side and clip it in, which might be a little bit hard to do, or a little bit difficult to do, because you really got to get it in there, and then that's it. So I got it right the first time and it fits perfectly. Looks really nice. This also does come in a couple different colors if you don't like the silver. I think it goes kind of good with the silver Galaxy watch. Looks pretty nice. And as far as it grabbing my hairs, it's fairly tight on my wrist, but when I'm sliding it, I mean, I don't feel, see, you just saw that come apart. I only hit one of these little levers here, so that is the downside of this watch band, is it can come apart prematurely, and it's not the easiest to put together. So that's one thing you got to watch out for. I mean, it does look like a nice watch band, and I like the brushed look of that, and this looks kind of cool too, and it fits my wrist really well. Again, I didn't feel it pulling any of my hairs either. It's just that the one thing I showed you where you have to kind of like watch when you hit, it looks like this side up here that it can come apart. You have to kind of watch for that. Maybe the one I got is faulty and this little piece here just kind of stays forward. I'm not really sure, but I mean, because of this being able to come apart without you pressing both of these in, I would not recommend this watch band. It looks really nice and it doesn't feel cheap at all, but because this buckle can come apart prematurely, I would not buy this again, and I wouldn't recommend it to you because of that, because there's a chance that it could come apart and the watch come off your wrist. So I would just stay away from this watch band. And then here we have a nylon band by BANDLETIC. This is their R Nylon. Now this is one of the bands that I saw online that looked really cool, so I wanted to try it out for myself. It is made of a nylon material and it does utilize Velcro to stay in place, and it also has a magnetic piece here that kind of comes apart if you want like a quick release, then it just kind of goes right back into place. I thought that was pretty cool, and again, I wanted to see how it worked in real life. So it does have metal clips on the end here, and we'll just clip this on here to see how well this works. So that clips into place there, and we'll get the other side. And that clips into place fairly easily as well. So we'll adjust this for my wrist. Trying to get this on without this coming off, because there's nothing holding this strap from coming out of the connector. So you got to kind of keep it in place. Now we'll tighten this up to where it needs to be. And there we go. So again, another watch band that pretty much fits my wrist perfectly. If you got smaller wrists, this band might not be for you, because then this piece here is going to be kind of over here and or kind of like sticking out. But it fits perfectly, looks really nice. And again, this does have this quick disconnect. So we'll see how well this works. You just kind of like lift up on here, and it comes off kind of like that. Not as graceful as I would like. And to try to get it back on, let's see if it'll just kind of clip into place here. So that clips back into place. So I'm not sure if maybe you're supposed to only use that when you want to take it off, and then you take it off like this quickly, right? And then you clip this back into place when the watch is not on your wrist, and then you have to undo the Velcro to kind of put it back onto your wrist. I'm not 100% sure of exactly like what that was meant for. I mean, it might be like a quick disconnect. But either way, I think it looks pretty cool. It does also feel pretty nice. It doesn't feel cheap. This little connector here does have some plastic on it, but again, it doesn't seem like a super cheap band. It seems to be a pretty well made, and I don't think it looks too bad on the watch either. So I mean, you can take it off a couple different ways. You can just undo the Velcro and take it off, or you can use this, this quick quick disconnect here. So I looked really quick on the website, and that's exactly how they show you to put this on. There's two different ways. You can either use the Velcro strap, you undo it and then slide it over your wrist and then, you know, tighten it up and then use the magnetic lock to take the watch off. Or they also show you adjusting the Velcro and then connecting it with the magnetic connector like I did. But when you have it tight, as you saw, it's not very easy to get on. So those are a couple different ways that they show to use it. But I think that the easiest way to get it on is going to be to undo the Velcro and then to take it off, use the metal strap, not the other, the magnetic clasp, not to do the other way around. So, but other than that, it looks nice. It looks kind of tactical. But again, it is nylon, and if you're going to be sweating a lot, it's going to get dirty, and it's not going to be super easy to clean. But I think it looks pretty cool. I think the magnetic clasp works a lot better when it's not on your wrist because you barely have to touch it and it clips right into place. And the same thing with taking it apart. And then here we have another stainless steel watch band by KADES. So this is another band that I thought looked pretty cool. This is made from stainless steel. It looks very industrial. And remember when I mentioned before about the little clasp on the robust? This is what I was talking about. You can see how thin and kind of how flimsy this clasp is, and it's so tight against your wrist that it's a little bit harder to press in. These are the kind of clasps that I don't like. I like the bigger ones better, but these are more slimline. It's just that if you look at this closely, you can see kind of how much movement there is in the band when it's on the clasp, and that definitely doesn't say quality to me. So the way that you adjust this is on the back. There are some pins in here that you need to push out. It does come with a little tool to help push those pins out, and you just want to push them the way that the arrows are pointing. So I'm going to connect this up to the watch to see how many links we need to take out first. This is another band that's really hard to get on the watch. So I'm going to try pushing in the button on the bottom first. So that clips into place. And I do the same thing for the other side. And there it is. So we'll open this up, put this on our wrist, close it. And then what I do is I kind of like pinch it together to see how many links we need to take out. So it looks like two on one side and like 3 on the other. So undo this little screw pretty much all the way so you can see the little pin, and then we'll line this up with our watch. And you also need to make sure that the pin goes through this little slot here so it's not pushing up against it. And you can see the little pin kind of pushing out through the other side. You can pull the pins out. And there you go. Now you just need to do the reverse of that to put these back together. All right, so it is all sized now, so we'll put this on our wrist. Tighten this up. I really don't like this clasp. And there you go. So the watch band does look pretty nice, except that I don't like how flimsy this little clasp in the middle is there. But the band looks really nice, and these little pieces right here remind me of the ULTIMAL watch band that we looked at earlier. I think the color looks pretty good. As far as it grabbing my hairs, I don't feel that. I do like my watch bands a little bit loose. I don't like them super tight on my wrist because it just like the bone that I have here kind of grabs on that. And I don't like that. I like it to be able to move on my wrist. Feels pretty nice. Again, it has that like industrial type look to it. And then when we take it apart, kind of just press in the middle here, and the pieces come apart. And I just don't like, look at how thin that is. Like there's barely anything holding on there. Like look at the side. Look at how thin that is. That's definitely a weak point. So that's just something to point out. There should have been more reinforcement in these parts here that actually clipped onto those little pieces for the clasp. I mean, it looks nice, but I think functionally it is kind of cheap. So for me, I would not purchase this watch band again, and I'm not going to recommend that you guys purchase it either. And then here we have a stretchy nylon band by BLACKPRO. So this band kind of looked cool online. Again, I wanted to see how it was in real life. It is made of a stretchy nylon fabric, and it kind of looks like the Milanese loops. It's got these, like the stainless steel buckle here, and the metal ends as well. And the way that you adjust this is you just lift up on this piece here, and then you can kind of slide this up and down the band. Let me take it apart first, make it a little easier. This should slide up and down the band just like that. And then when you have it where you want it, you just kind of push this little piece down and it should stay in place. So let's connect this to our watch. See how easily this pushes in. Connects fairly easily. All right, now we'll put this on our wrist. And then you just need to kind of like tighten this up and then put it into the other side, or at least try to. It's going to be a little bit hard to do. And there we go. So not too bad. I think it looks pretty nice, feels pretty comfortable. The nylon is nice and soft. Now, one thing that I did see on one of the other bands that I tried was one of these sides here seemed to be faulty. Typically, to get this apart, you have to push up on both of these, but on the other watch band, all you need to do is press up on one. So let's see if this one has the same problem. So that's not coming apart. Let's try the other one. Doesn't seem to be coming off. Now if we press both of them in, it comes right off. So this one does seem to be working better than the other one did. Let's loosen this up a little bit. Tighten it down and put this back together here. This is a little pain in the butt here. So you got to try to, it's hard to do, especially on camera. Like try to put this, because you have to put this directly in for it to go in pretty smoothly. So that doesn't look too bad. I think this also does come in different colors. I do like the metal clasp on here, and I think the stainless steel parts that clip into the watch look pretty nice as well. Not too bad. And again, to undo this, you just push both of these up and it comes right off. So it's hard to show you guys, but you need to push this in like dead on to get it in. It's not hard, but the tighter you make this, the harder it is going to be put in here. And then if we just push those forward, it comes right out. So if you have it just a little bit loose, you can push this in fairly easily and it clips right into place. So not bad at all. So if you're looking for a pretty nice nylon band, I would probably recommend this one. Looks and feels pretty good on the wrist. I also tried this off my wrist again just to make sure. So pressing in one, doesn't seem to come off. Pressing the other side alone, and it doesn't come off. But then if we press both of these, it comes off super easy. So this definitely does seem to be working the way that it's supposed to. And then here we have a trail band by Bandrain. So this band is kind of like the band we just took a look at. It's also made of nylon, kind of like stretchy, but this one's not flat. It's got these holes in it, which kind of looks like the marine band that the watch came with. We also have a metal clasp here that comes apart when you press both of these little levers together. And then when you push it together, it kind of clips into place, but it doesn't feel very smooth. It feels kind of hard to do. Like it's, I don't know. It just doesn't feel like a quality buckle to me. And then the metal ends on the side here. So let's put this on our watch. Clips into place pretty easily. Then again, press this together to take it apart. Then we'll kind of put this on our wrist. And then we just need to get this over here, which if you want to adjust it, if it's not properly fit, just lift up on this little metal piece here, which is not easy to do either. This little metal piece here kind of comes up like that, and then you can kind of slide this forward if you need, and then just push it back down to lock it into place. It seems very hard to do. Again, we'll put this on our wrist. And then you can kind of clip this in. It needs to go straight in, and it seems to lock in place. And it seems like it's on there pretty good. So not a horrible band. Again, the only thing I've seen so far that I don't like is, it seems like the quality of this clasp is not the best. And I also think this comes in different colors as well. Feels pretty nice on my wrist. It's not grabbing any of my hairs. I do like how it has little holes in the bands. And then again, to take this apart, just push both these together and it kind of comes apart and you can take it off. So not a horrible band. It's just, for me, I don't really like this particular clasp. It just doesn't feel, smooth. Like it doesn't work how it's supposed to, and it doesn't fit. Like there's something kind of in the way, or maybe because it looks like it's bent. I'm not 100% sure, but if the clasp doesn't work very well, it's not going to be a very good experience for you to try to take on and off your wrist. So for me personally, I would not purchase this again, and I would not recommend it to you either. And then here we have a magnetic trail band by WOWSTRAP. So this band kind of looks like the trail loop band with all the holes in it. It is made of nylon, like a kind of stretchy type of nylon. It does have a magnetic clip here. So once you adjust it, you just kind of put that over your wrist and it clips right into place. And it also does have metal connectors on the ends. So let's put this on our watch. This one also seems kind of difficult to put on the watch itself. So I'm just going to push in the button on the bottom and push it into place. We'll do the same thing for the other side. And it's in. So now we can adjust the strap here. That's might be good. Let's test it out. It's not very easy to put on your wrist because of all these ridges. Like it stays in place without you even having to kind of put the magnet on the other side because of those ridges, but we can kind of clip it into place here. So not horrible. Does look okay. I mean, I don't know about the piece here. It just kind of looks like it's really bulky right here, and then it's really thin over on this side. So I don't really particularly like that. And it might be because of the little loops just making it stick out a little more. That's the only thing I can see that kind of is off-putting for me. But the magnet here does seem to hold in place. I'll kind of pull on the watch band and it comes apart. Not easily. If you're trying to get it apart, you probably can, but for the most part it seems like it pretty much stays on your wrist, so that's definitely a plus. Now if you pull the top band here, it might come off, but it's not just gonna fall off your wrist. You have to, if you get this caught on something, it might pull off, but then you still have to get the watch off your wrist. So I wouldn't be super concerned about that. It does seem to be made of like a cheaper type of metal, so that's another thing to keep in mind. But this is a third-party band. It's not going to be super expensive. But for me, the biggest thing is how this looks right here. It's super thick. Maybe I just need to pull. So that's a little bit better, but it's still just kind of, it seems like it's sticking out a little bit. You can see that this one is just a single, and then we got this kind of like a fatter loop right there. I don't really care for that. But the magnet does seem to hold in place pretty good. Like I said, the watch isn't just coming off, even with it being right here, because of the loops kind of help keep it in place. And then if you need to adjust this, there's a piece underneath the bottom here you lift up, and you can kind of slide this up and down the band as well. So this is kind of like one of the cheaper bands. It's not horrible, but the magnet here, like I said, it feels and looks kind of cheap, and then you get this fat loop at the bottom here. So again, another band for me that I would not buy again, and I would not recommend to you. And then here we have a silicone type sports band. This is nothing crazy, just very simple, and it looks kind of like some of the more expensive sports bands out there. It does have a nice soft rubbery type feel, and it's held in place with this little metal piece here, and the ends also have like these little metal pieces in the insides as well. So we'll put this on our watch. Clips right into place. Yep, clips in very nicely. And then to get this out, you just kind of pull the band from outside of underneath the band and then kind of pull it apart. Put this on our wrist. And then you get the band where you want it and press over the little metal piece. It clips into place, and then you just tuck in the rest of the band underneath the loop just like this. So I think that looks pretty nice. It's kind of sporty looking. You can easily wash it if it gets full of sweat. Feels nice on your wrist because it's got that nice soft feel. Doesn't grab onto any of my hairs, and it seems to hold in place pretty well. It's got that nice thick metal piece here. And this does also come in a whole bunch of different colors. Again, not something super expensive, but it seems to do the job. And this would be really good, again, like I said, if you're going to be working out, hiking, biking, things where you're going to be sweating a lot, it's going to be a lot easier to clean off this rubber than it would be some fabric. Oh, definitely not a bad band. And then again, to take it off, just kind of pull this out, undo it, and it comes right off. And if we take a look at the side, you can see how thick the rubber is. It's not super thick, but it's not going to just fall apart either. And again, what do you expect for it being a cheaper, like a third-party band? If anything were to break on this watch, I think it would probably be these little pieces here first, just from putting this in and out of this little slot here. But you can see how big that metal piece is. And then here we have a silicone magnetic band by GOLDTOLUCK. This one's kind of interesting because it works kind of like the metal bands do, where it kind of opens up like this, but it uses the magnet to kind of hold it in place. Now, the one thing about this band is the silicone rubber is kind of flimsy. You can see it's not super thick. So I'm not really sure how long this would hold up. over time, but for right now, it'll seem to do the job. So we'll put this on our watch. We'll see how easy this clips in. Clips on pretty easily. Same thing with the other side. And then if you need to adjust this, underneath, again, it's got this little piece, this little metal piece here. You just lift up on this, and then you can slide this up and down the watch band. So we'll put this on our wrist, and then you just simply fold this up, and it clips right into place. I really like this style clasp here, especially because it's magnetic. It makes it a lot easier to kind of open and close. And again, if you like sports or if you do things outdoors where you're going to sweat a lot, you can very easily clean this versus some of the fabric materials. Feels and looks nice on my wrist. It doesn't grab any of my hairs either. And this also does come in a couple different other colors. It's got that nice soft touch feel. And again, if you pull on this, it's not going to just come apart. If you get something caught on this end right here, it may come apart. But like I said, it's not going to just kind of come off your wrist. If you pull the whole thing, it has to get caught on the little magnet part here. But definitely not a bad band if you're looking to save some money and you want something that is pretty functional. And the other thing is the magnet, or the piece with the magnet on it, it doesn't feel super cheap. It seems to be a fairly good build. I mean, for what the price is, and the magnet also clips into place really well also. It's got a nice hold on it. It's not just gonna just fall off. Now, one thing you will have to worry about is if you have a smaller wrist and you try to adjust this too much, you can already see that the band is kind of going underneath the other band. If this goes under too much, it's going to be harder to kind of close because that piece is going to kind of bind up underneath the other side. So again, you just need to keep that in mind. If you have wrists smaller than mine, you might have to worry about that. But for the most part, it seems to fit pretty good, at least on my wrist. If you all made it this far in the video, thank you so much for all your support, and do me a really quick favor and type in the words strapped in the comments to let me know who my super supporters are. So now that I've had a chance to test out all those watch bands, I'm going to let you know which ones were my personal favorite and would recommend. But before I do that, I need to tell you about this one watch band that I would definitely stay away from. And that's this Milanese loop band here. The band really isn't that bad. It's actually pretty nice looking, and it also seems to be pretty well made. The only problem is it's got a couple levers on the clasp that you're supposed to use 2 fingers to release it with, but for some reason it seems like only one lever needs to be pushed up, releasing the band, making it unsafe for your watch. So if this one little lever gets pressed, the watch band can be undone and the watch can fall off your wrist, possibly damaging your watch. So I would just stay away from this band. Now, if you're looking for the best sports band, something you can use when you're doing outdoor activities such as swimming, hiking, biking, things like that, where you're going to get a little bit sweaty, I would recommend these 2 bands here. The first one is made by ULTIMAL, and it's their Steelfighter series. Like I mentioned before, I've been actually using this type of band on my Apple Watch Ultra, and it's been great. I typically wear it when I'm going biking and hiking and walking outdoors, and my wrist does get pretty sweaty. I just come back inside and simply wash it off underneath the sink. It's made of a combination of rubber and stainless steel, which should be pretty durable and last over time. The next band I would recommend is the Samsung Marine band. This band is also made of a high quality, durable rubber, and it's also got titanium on it. So again, this should last the test of time, or at least outlast your watch. And it is also very easy to clean. You just simply run it under some water or wash it off with some soap if it happens to get dirty. The only thing about this band is it is pretty expensive, so that might be something to consider if you're looking at this band. Then if you're looking for a nice titanium band, I would definitely recommend the one made by Robust. This watch band comes in 2 different colors. We've got the natural titanium as well as the black. It seems like a very well-made watch band, very durable. I also personally absolutely love the little clasp on here. It's very easy to use and press in, and it seems to be very sturdy as well. And because it's made of titanium, it should be somewhat scratch proof. And if it gets dirty, you could just simply run it under some water or even use some soap to clean it off. This is actually the watch band that I've been using on my Galaxy Watch Ultra from last year. Then if you're looking for a nice nylon band, I would recommend these two bands here. The first watch band we have here is made by BANDLETIC, and the thing that makes this watch band stand out amongst all the rest is the fact that it has a couple different ways you can put it on your wrist or even take it off. It uses a quick release magnetic clasp, which you can actually use to put it on your wrist or quickly take it off. I tried to put it on my wrist that way. It didn't work out too well for me because it was kind of tight, but it worked really well when you need to quickly take the watch band off your wrist. The nylon strap that they also use in this watch band seems to be pretty quality, and it does not feel cheap. The next watch band I would recommend is the one here made by BLACKPRO. This watch band uses a stretchy nylon, which is a little bit more forgiving when it's on your wrist. It was also pretty comfortable when I put it on. It's got a metal clasp that actually uses two little levers on each side that need to be pressed up to release the clasp, which holds it in place really well. I think it's a really great value, especially for the inexpensive price that you're going to be paying for it, and it comes in a whole bunch of different colors as well. Now, if there was a watch band that you didn't see in this video that you'd like to recommend for future videos, let me know in the comments below. I'd also really like to know what your favorite watch band was and why. If you guys enjoyed the video, please let me know by hitting the like button, and if you want to see more reviews I did on watch bands for the Galaxy Watch Ultra, check out the video that's on your screen right now. Thank you all for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.